So now, here also we apply Coulomb's law, wherein in Coulomb's law we have learned that we have a concept of point charge. Likewise, even though point charge is a non-entity, we assume it. Like that, this surface, now there are two approaches. This surface you can either take up as made up of, when we talk of surface, we can consider surface made up of strips. Surface made up of strips of very small infinitesimal length. Multiple strips. And a strip we consider made up of multiple points. That is number one. Or there is no need to have an intermediate entity of strip. We can consider point to be made up of surface to be made up of uncountably infinite points, not only in one direction but in both directions. Means what we can say, we can consider an infinitesimally small square of length dx and width either interchangeably dy. Are you getting me? So we can consider this to be made up of a small square dx is its length in horizontal direction and dy length in vertical direction. So its area is dx dy. Its area, to be very precise, we should consider delta x, delta y, and as delta y tending to 0 we go. I repeat that dx itself can't exist. Either it must be in which form? D by dx form, or it must be in integral dx form. Mere dx doesn't exist, but that much classical thing is not required for us. So we proceed further. We can come back whenever we need. So I hope this is quite clear now. Then what we can have? We are having a point here, 0, 0, 1. We are having a, this is 0, 1, comma 0. I think I didn't write it specifically, but it is assumed that z dimension is 0 in all 4 corner points, and I want to calculate the electric field E here. So electric field E here will be summation of the contribution of point charges, which would be 3 dx dy. 3 dx means there will be, how many points will be there? Length on both directions is 1. So if delta x and delta y, let us assume both are equal. So 1 upon delta x and 1 upon delta y. लक्षात आले का? 1 upon किती छोटे स्क्वेअर्स होतील? 1 upon delta x into 1 upon delta y. So 1 upon delta x, 1 upon delta x, delta y इतके स्क्वेअर्स होतील, इतके पॉइंट्स होतील. And delta x, delta y are tending to 0, so infinitely large actually. So the electric field here will be summation of the contribution of electric field because of 1 upon delta x, delta y points, and each point containing a electric charge of 3 delta x, delta y. 3 delta x, delta y इतके पॉइंट्स कुठे कुठे आहेत? वेगवेगळ्या ठिकाणी आहेत. त्या प्रत्येकामुळे कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन येईल. सो व्हॉट वुड बी कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड? तेव्हा आपण काय लिहिलं आता? डेल्टा ई. डेल्टा ई इज अ व्हेक्टर. म्हणजे डेल्टा ई म्हणजे काय? एका ठराविक पॉइंट डेल्टा एक्स, डेल्टा वाय एरियाच्या जो चार्ज आहे तो त्या एरिया निग्लिजिबल आहे, त्या एरियाच्या मधल्या पॉइंटला जणू काही कॉन्सन्ट्रेट असा असू शकत नाही, पण आपण अज्युम करायचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेट झालाय असा पॉइंट चार्ज. सो 3 डेल्टा एक्स डेल्टा ई इज इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड at point 001 because of point charge delta x 3 delta x delta y at x y 0. Is it right? हे x आणि हे right, this is a delta x delta y at x y 0. Square of delta x delta y, charge density is 3, so 3 delta x means this is a charge of 3 delta x delta y at x y 0 will be responsible for electric field delta E, which is a vector. So when it's a vector, it will be comprising of delta Ex is a scalar, delta Ex I or Ax cap. You can assume, I think I j k is better. I plus delta Ey j plus delta Ez k. Is it right? Is it okay? So electric अगदी सोपा आहे, पण एकदा क्लिअर केलं की नंतर you can have multiple problem solutions. So delta Ex, delta Ey and delta Ez are x, y and z components of electric field intensity E. इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड इलेक्ट्रिक field intensity असे म्हणतात. इलेक्ट्रिक प्लस ते नंतर घेऊया. At point 001 because of an approximate, I correct myself किंवा refine myself, correct म्हणजे मागचं चूक असं होईल, refine myself because of an approximated point charge at x, y, 0 with value 3 delta x delta y. Is it right? So what is delta Ex then? What is magnitude? Magnitude would be mod delta E किती येईल? Mod delta E would be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, we assume as k, so that it's easy in calculation. So k into q किती आहे? 3 delta x delta y upon r square. r square किती येईल? 1 plus x square plus y square, right? इथं असेल तर हे 1 आणि हे किती असणार आहे? अंडर रूट x square plus y square, yx. हे अंडर रूट x square plus y square आणि हे 1, so 1 square plus under root x square plus y square, so 1 x square plus y square, and its overall root is r, and r square is 1 plus x square plus y square. Is it clear? हे सोपं आहे. आता एकदा मांडता आलं की मग ते 10वी NTS प्रिलिम लेवलचं आहे, म्हणजे प्रत्येकाला वेळ दिला की करू शकतो. वेळ द्यायचा नसेल तर काय प्रेस करता येणार. This is delta, this is mod delta E, magnitude. मग आता delta Ex किती येईल? delta Ex कुठल्या दिशेने आहे? आता आपण देताना साइन देऊया. मी साइन either you can assume or you don't assume. If you give specifically and the answer is reverse, म्हणजे तर ऑटोमॅटिक ते रिव्हर्स होतं. पण आपण देताना काय करूया, निगेटिव्ह समजून देऊया. आता आपल्याला माहित आहे चार्जेस कसे येणार आहेत, सगळे डेल्टा एक्स या दिशेने येणार आहेत, ते निगेटिव्ह येणार आहेत असं आहे. त्याचा एक्स कंपोनंट किती असणार? या दिशेने आहे. किती येईल? आधी झेड पर आधी झेड कंपाऊंड काढायला सोपा आहे. किती? पॉझिटिव्ह आहे. डेल्टा ई एक्स, डेल्टा ई वाय, डेल्टा ई झेड, तो किती येईल? डेल्टा ई झेड. सोपा आहे म्हटलं तर लगेच उत्तर आहे ना. डेल्टा ई एक्स ला जो गोंधळून गेलेला आहे, आपण डेल्टा ई झेड सोपा आहे आधी काढूया म्हटलं, आणि तीच परिस्थिती असतं, काय उपयोग आहे? तो सोपा ट्रायंगल आहे ना. हे 1 आहे आणि हे किती आहे? अंडर रूट 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वेअर प्लस वाय स्क्वेअर अंतर, आणि हे 1 म्हणजे किती आलं? हे येणार 3k डेल्टा एक्स डेल्टा वाय upon 1 plus x square plus y square as it is into 1 upon under root 1 plus x square plus y square, म्हणजेच 3 delta x delta y upon 3k लिहितो, k into 3 delta x delta y upon 1 plus x square plus y square raised to 3/2, right? Is it okay? हे आलं डेल्टा z, सॉरी म्हणजे डेल्टा ई झेड. आता डेल्टा एक्स किती येईल? डेल्टा ई एक्स किती येईल? डेल्टा ई एक्स किती येईल? डायरेक्ट डेल्टा एक्स किती येईल? कसं काढणार? यायलाच पाहिजे प्रत्येकाला. असं आहे त्याचं, ह्या दिशेचं काढला दिस अपॉन दिस. आता यातला ह्या दिशेचं काढताना कसा काढायला लागेल? या दिशेचं काढताना आपण एकदम जम्प घ्यायला नको, टप्प्याटप्प्याने जाऊया. या याला आपण कसा रिझॉल्व करूया? याला आपण इथे रिझॉल्व केलाय, दुसरा कुठे रिझॉल्व करूया? ऑन दिस एक्स वाय प्लेन रिझॉल्व करूया त्याला. हा किती येईल? हा किती येईल? अंडर रूट एक्स स्क्वेअर प्लस वाय स्क्वेअर अपॉन अंडर रूट 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वेअर प्लस वाय स्क्वेअर, राईट? आणि याची डिरेक्शनची आता वेगळी गरज नाही, या दिशेचाच ही व्हॅल्यू, आणि त्याचा एक्स किती येईल आता? एक्स लक्षात आलं का? म्हणजे हे व्हॉट दिस वुड बी डेल्टा ई तर येईलच, डेल्टा ई इंटू एक्स स्क्वेअर प्लस वाय स्क्वेअर अंडर रूट अपॉन अंडर रूट 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वेअर प्लस वाय स्क्वेअर, आणि त्यातला हा किती येईल? एक्स अपॉन दिस, बरोबर आहे? ते कॅन्सल होईल. व्हॉट इज सेड इज करेक्ट. तर काय ना, एक्स अपॉन दिस इंटू हे हा डेल्टा इंटू हा झाला, तर एक्स कंपोनंट हा दिस इंटू एक्स अपॉन दिस. इज इट राईट? सो फायनली इट वुड बी 3k delta x delta y upon 1 plus x square plus y square into x upon under root 1 plus x square plus y square and minus, we specifically write minus, is it right? Because it is negative. It is minus 3k delta x delta y x upon 1 plus x square plus y square raised to 3 by 2. And y is the same minuses and y. Is it right? Is it okay? So now what would be? So similarly there will be ey, delta ey. Now after that what would be ex, ey and ez? What would be ex, ey, ez? How to integrate? Ex, ey and ez are to be integrated for limits of x and y as 0 to 1. Is it clear? So Ex would be, it would be double integration of delta Ex dx dy with limits as limits as 0 to 1. Is it right? Now this is a very complex integration. Same is for Ex, Ey and Ez. So we solve for 1 and so for Ez we solve. So it is, because the term is somewhat simpler. For it is, for Ez, this will become its integration. So already these terms dx dy are already there, so no need to write separately. So it would be Ez would be k will remain outside. 3k will remain outside. Dx dy upon under root 1 plus x. Sorry. So how will you solve this?
1 plus x ला constant dx नंतर integrate करा dy साठी integrate करा.
So what we need, we have to go step by step. We integrate over y first, assuming x to be constant, right? And then we integrate over x. So this would be how? We will not solve it completely here. 3x into bracket so how will you do this? Dx constant. So when dx is constant, 1 plus x square. काय करायचं? We use some other constant, let us say p, right? Because k we use. Any constant. So p square plus x square, sorry. P square plus y square raised to 3 by 2. So, is it right? Then how will you solve this? How will you solve this? Limits are 0 to 1. Y equal to p tan theta. By putting y equal to p tan theta, limits of theta are, what are limits of theta? 0 to pi by 4, right? So this would become, it will lead to 3k as it is, 1 0 dx as it is, 0 to pi by 4, putting y equal to p tan theta, dy equal to p sec square theta d theta, right? So it would become, dy would be p sec square theta d theta, and in the denominator p square plus y square. P square will come out, y is p tan theta, so p 1 plus tan square theta, that is sec square theta, raised to 3 by 2, that is sec cube theta, and p square will become as p, right? P square raised to 3 by 2 would be p. So will it be right? P sec cube theta, whether the denominator is correct? P square plus y square raised to 3 by 2 is p square plus p square tan square theta raised to 3 by 2 is p square sec square theta raised to 3 by 2. P guys? It will be, sorry, it will be p cube. Is it right? P cube is okay? So this will become 3k 0 to 1 dx 0 to pi by 4. P will straight away come, p square will come directly outside, right? P upon p square, and cos 1 upon sec theta is cos theta d theta. Is it right? Cos theta d theta. So that would be, what would be answer? So sum, it is 3k upon p square 0 to 1 dx into cos pi by 4 is 1 by root 2 and cos 0 is 1. So 1 by root 2 minus 1. Sorry, it's integral sine, cos integral sine theta. So 1 by root 2 minus 0. So it is, it right? So it becomes p
square is dependent on x. So what come outside?
p
square is dependent on x. One constant.
Oh, right. So p square will come out, but not out till this. It will be here. Right? And this is because this is sine theta 0 and pi by 2. So this would be 3k upon root 2 integration of 0 to 1 dx, and p, what is p? P is, what do you assume? 1 plus x square plus p square. So directly 1 plus x square. Then this becomes very simple. What is the answer? So that is 3k upon root 2 tan inverse of x from 0 to 1, right? So it is 3k upon root 2 into pi by 4 is Ez equal to. So we write here itself. So Ez equal to, what is k? 3 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into pi by 4 and this one more root. So this would be pi getting cancelled. 3 upon 16 root 2. Ez would be 3 upon 16 root 2k. Obviously this is subject to some mistakes which might have been there in calculations. Is it right? So similarly, so at least we have completed one thing and not left it in between. Now similarly you calculate Ex and Ey. Similarly you calculate Ex and Ey. Is it right? Okay. Now it's quite, we take a very simple problem. I write this. Is it okay now? Right, and it is to solve immediately within 5 minutes. Calculate E at 0, 0, z due to the entire xy plane is carrying uniform surface charge of rho s. You don't need to give it. It is made simple. So same thing, same logic. Here there are some very symmetric, because what I said, entire xy plane means it is infinite. Entire xy plane is carrying the charge. Logic is same. What is now Ez, delta Ez? What is the only difference? Delta Ez is, there is only one difference. What is that? Delta Ez is k into rho s, right? y upon under root, no, not under root, or it's not now 1, it's आणि हे किती येणार z upon z upon under root x square plus y square plus z square. Is it clear? लक्षात आलं का? At distance z, this is z, and the distance from that point is x square plus y square plus z square overall square root. It's square. Square nahi. First we calculate mod. So what that mod is? Upon x square plus y square plus, is it right? That distance is square. And now delta Ez is delta E into Z upon that. Is Z upon x square plus y square plus z square square. So finally delta Z is k rho x delta y into z upon x square plus y square plus z square raised to 3 by 1. Is it right? Is it okay? Delta z. And now delta ez. Now there is no need to calculate delta ex and delta ey. Why? Because I am at 0, 0, z and entire xy plane is carrying the charge. So for every point there is diametrically opposite point which will contribute exactly reverse delta ex. प्रत्येक पॉइंटला एक डायमेट्रिकली अपोजिट पॉइंट आहे की जो रिव्हर्स डेल्टा एक्स देईल, सिमिलर रिव्हर्स डेल्टा ई वाय देईल. सो डेल्टा ई एक्स अँड डेल्टा ई वाय फ्रॉम all points will be cancelling each other and only delta Ez would be summing up. Right? Delta Ez will be summing up. So what would be Ez then? What would be Ez? Ez is right in integration minus infinity to infinity, double integration. K will be outside. K will be outside. Then rho s will be outside. Z we will not keep outside right now because we need it. Rho s k z upon x square plus y square plus z square dx dy. Oh sorry, it's to 3 by. So what will happen? What will happen? How it will be? Integration will proceed further.
X square z square constant.
So how it will move further? You can make a simple substitution directly here itself of what? X and y. Both you can, theta and phi you can do, and both angular integrals you can calculate. X as, you have got z, you have got z. So x, this angle, x as z, z cos theta, z tan theta. X as z tan theta and y as z tan phi. And theta would be from minus theta would be from minus pi to pi. Phi will be from minus pi to pi. All you can calculate and be surprised to know that the final answer is Ez is rho s by 2k. So it becomes independent of z. It becomes an infinitely long uniform surface charge creates an electric field. An electric field, infinitely distributed surface charge creates an electric field which is independent of distance from it. लाइन चार्ज बहुत क्या होता है? Rho s upon 2 rho l upon 2 epsilon r. म्हणजे त्या लाईन पासून r अंतरावर rho s upon 2 epsilon r होतं. पण सरफेस असेल that is rho s upon 2 independent of distance, and which is somewhat surprising. I am sure that म्हणजे त्या प्लेन पासून मी किती जरी लांब गेलो, त्या प्लेन पासून मी किती जरी लांब गेलो तर इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड तेच राहतंय. हे थोडंसं न पटण्यासारखं आहे. त्याला चिंता पडली आहे का म्हणजे अंतर आम्ही लांब गेलो तरी हा माझा काही पिच्छा सोडत नाही अशी तर चिंता पडली आहे. आय एम शुअर दॅट ड्युरिंग दी इंटरव्हिनिंग टाइम विल वर्क ऑन इट. वी कंटिन्यू नेक्स्ट टाइम.